Ladies and gentlemen, it is plum time. Today I'm going to talk about plums, which, yeah, that's exciting. I haven't really talked that much about plums in the past. I talked about an unripe plum. That was pretty interesting. And I talked about some plum hybrid once. The difficulty is to talk about something that is so common as a plum and make it interesting. So that is why I have waited oh so long to really take a closer look at plums. And today, I think I figured out how to do it. I have with me a few different varieties of plums, and some of them I think are interesting. I think you're going to think they're interesting too. There are several different species of plums out there in the world, but the ones that we get in the supermarkets are only one of two, generally. We have Prunus salicina and Prunus domestica. Now, Prunus salicina are the big chunky ones that you'll find, the ones that are kind of like apple size or small apple size. So the black plum here, for instance, is a Prunus salicina. Or maybe there's some more parentage in there too, but that is generally what you think of when you think of Prunus salicina, these big chunky ones. And Prunus domestica are smaller ones, like this one here. This is a sugar plum. And these are more common to be used in like dried applications. So if you get like prunes, it's usually one of these. It's not going to be one of these. I mean, if you get a dried one of these, it's going to be a big ass prune, but you're more likely to find one of these being used dried. There are several other species of plum, but they're not so common. Sometimes they are used in hybrids to create other plums. And one of those, which I am very happy to have, is this. This is a Greengage. If you live in a lot of parts of Europe, this is not an uncommon thing. You will find this at markets. But in the United States, these are very, very rare. And other parts of the world, very, very rare. This is actually the first time that I've ever seen one of these, and I found this at a Russian supermarket deep in the bowels of Brooklyn. Now, the Greengage is actually a hybrid between Prunus domestica and Prunus insititia. Probably saying that wrong. There are also some very interesting hybrids out there that involve things that you normally wouldn't consider to be a plum, like the apricot. Like apricots and plums can hybridize together. They are related closely enough where you can do that, and that's where you get things like the aprium or the pluot. There's also some other even crazier ones out there where people are trying to combine cherries with plums and peaches with plums and whatever else. So you get some pretty interesting hybrids out there, and on top of that, there are a bunch of different cultivars. So you've got different variations of just the plum species and also the different plum hybrid species. So there's all sorts of different plums out there. I have one other one that I'm going to try that I picked up because it looks interesting. This is a lemon plum, and I like this one because it's got this little point to it. While looking up information about the lemon plum, I came across a website, naturalfactors.com, which sells, I believe, fruit, but also like a whole bunch of like herbal medicine and supplements and stuff like that. Listen to what they have to say about this. The lemon plum is a hybrid of plum and citrus that's primarily grown in Chile, along with a small number of specialty fruit farms in the US, which is a completely idiotic thing to say. You cannot cross a plum with a lemon. They are not related. I don't know how somebody could have written that and then had the nerve to actually put sources of their references at the bottom, because that is obviously something that they pulled directly out of their butt. So anyway, let's do a comparison of these four very different plum varieties that I have here and see if one stands above the rest. As a control, I'm going to start with probably the most common of all of them, the black plum. There we go. Now what's amazing here is look at that seed. For the size of this fruit, that is impressively small. From the outside it looks pretty good, looks like it's ready, and it's a little bit soft, but I think this one needs to ripen a little bit more because it's quite tart. Like a 7 out of 10. It's not like unbearable or anything, but it is quite sour, more sour than an orange. I'd say the sweetness is maybe like a 4 out of 10. It tastes like a normal plum, just less sweet, more sour. Maybe like if you took a normal plum and put some lemon juice on it. It's not bad by any means, but it's pretty like substandard. Next, let's try the lemon plum. I think this is a good one to do next just because it's closest as far as species goes. They're both salicina, and the inside is kind of interesting because the seed is still pretty small, but the space is for a larger seed. That's really good. I think the black plum was a bad sample, just like way too underripe. This one I think is a perfect sample. It's nice, melts in your mouth when you chew it. Sweetness is really good. Still not very high though. I'd say the sweetness on this is on par with an apple. Tartness is quite low. There's a little bit, maybe like a 2 out of 10. There's notes of apricot and notes of vanilla in there. It does have like your standard plum flavor, but the plum flavor is lower than the other flavors. That's definitely better than the sort of plum that you just pick up at a supermarket. It's got a little bit more character to it, but still has a distinct plum flavor. Next, let's try the sugar plum. What's funny is that the seed on this one is just about the same as the other two, if not maybe a little bit bigger than that first one, but the amount of fruit you get is very small. This tastes more like what you would expect a plum to taste like. It's sweet. I wouldn't say it's sugar, but it is more than an apple. So the sweetness is probably a 7. The tartness is very low. I'd say it's like a 0 or a 1. It tastes exactly what you would expect a plum to taste like, just maybe a little bit sweeter than the ones you would get at a supermarket. Next and last, the one that I'm looking forward to the most, the Greengage. Ooh, I can tell that this one's going to be nice and soft just from cutting it. It feels very juicy. Yeah, it looks juicy on the inside too. You see like how wet it is in there. Oh wow. It does not taste like your standard plum. There's something else in there. And I'm not sure what that is. Let's see if we can figure it out. First, to break it down a little bit, the sweetness is very high. It's not quite sugar, but it's close. I'd say it's an 8. You know, it's maybe a 9. It's like it's pretty high up there. That is very, very sweet. Definitely the sweetest one out of all of these. It does have some tartness to it. Maybe a 3 out of 10 on tartness. This tastes like a fruit that is in syrup, but it's not in syrup. It's got something akin to like a maraschino cherry, but with so much more to it. It has like a honey sort of taste. It has a vanilla taste. It has a touch of like a spice to it, like a little touch of cinnamon. It has a bit of apricot in there. It tastes like a cocktail of different flavors in a fruit. I think that is all I could possibly say about plums today. Very cool to get a chance to try these side by side and just see how much variation there is in flavor from one plum to another. Plums are something that I very rarely buy at supermarkets, and I think that's part of the reason why I waited so long before taking more of a deep dive into plums for this channel. But this has shown me that there are some really, really good ones out there. There's a lot of different variation, and some of them are really crappy. With the ones we get at supermarkets are usually not very good, but that is not really a good example of how good they can be. So If you go to a market and you see one that looks good, or you go to a farmer's market, pick up some plums, guys. Try them, compare them. I think you'll be surprised with how good some of them can be. I want to give a special shout out to AltPod and Smarter Every Day. They are mega patrons over on patreon.com. Patreon is how this channel happens. It's how I can afford to do all the things that I do. So if you want to help me out by supporting the channel and getting some bonuses along the way, check out the description. I also have these shirts for sale. Those are in the description as well. See you next time. Bye.